Hello and welcome to episode 82 of This Week in Germany. We'll be bringing the world to Germany and Germany to the world with news of the week beginning the 27th of July. My name's Daniel.
And my name's Rob. Each week we feature stories from the news, society, and culture in the English language. If you want to find out more, including ways to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, head over to our website, thisweekingermany.de.
So let's get started with episode 82.
It's been a pretty fun week this past week. I know that you had a lot of fun. I even saw you on television, and I thought you did a great job. Tell me about it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was pretty fun. It's the first time I've done that kind of thing. I've worked in TV for a while, but only behind the camera. But yeah, it went well. Nothing bad happened. Nothing went wrong. Everything went very smoothly, and it was really fun. So I will be doing it again plenty of times in the future. So you can next see me in August, but don't worry, I can't shut up about it. So you'll find out via Twitter when I'm next going to be on. So what's coming up in episode 82, Rob?
Well, in our news and briefs, we have a couple political topics that we're going to talk about. One of the high-ranking CDU parliament members has quit over a protest against the Greece policies, as well as the AfD leader, who has just quit the party, has come up with a new party, along with some other news and brief articles that we're going to tell you about.
Our German of the week this week is Felix Jaehn, who's the DJ, I guess you'd call him, who has basically taken the world by storm with his music, and we'll be finding out a lot more later, but I think you'll definitely have heard of him already. If not from his name, then definitely of his music. What is our destination, Germany?
It is a place that I've actually been before. It's Moritzbastei in Leipzig. I'm going to tell you all about that coming up.
Okay, what kind of place is it?
It used to be a student club, and it's still used by students, but now it's more of a cultural club that you can go to. Plus bar, plus a place that they have plays. It's just an all-around fun place to go.
And in my Story 2 section of the program, I'll be looking at the latest in immigration news. There's a lot to cover this week, so I'll get to that later. But now, Story 1. Earlier this month, Germany and the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council negotiated a deal to limit Iran's nuclear program. The deal is intended to block all routes to nuclear weapons for Iran. In return, the countries will lift sanctions, and this will bring billions of dollars of trade to the country. But, of course, when you impose trade sanctions on another country, you lose access to that market for your own businesses. Now, according to one study, Germany missed out on up to 66.5 billion euros of trade with Iran between 2010 and 2012. So that was, a short time ago, but now we're going to talk about this week. Germany wants to make up for lost time, or perhaps better put, make up for lost revenue. Sigmar Gabriel is the country's economy minister. He travelled to Tehran this week with a delegation of 100 business leaders, including from top German companies like Mercedes-Benz, Siemens, and Volkswagen.
What has been Germany's diplomatic relationship with Iran up until now?
Well, it's been strained, to put it politely. Ever since the revolution in 1979, when the Shah was overthrown. Specifically in recent years, something that Germany has been very much against is Iran's anti-Israel rhetoric. From officials, including the President Ahmadinejad, as he was then, as well as the nuclear ambitions of the country. So basically, until now, they've been suspected of gearing up to make a nuclear bomb. Still, it hasn't been so bad, really, because there's been good scientific cooperation. A lot of Iranian scientists are actually trained at German institutions in Germany. And on the other side, in Iran, about 7,500 Iranians learned German last year in Tehran at one institute alone. So there still is some cooperation between the two countries.
At some point, wasn't Germany blocking all the trade between Iran before this deal?
Not exactly all trade, but it did block trade in many sectors. So exports to Iran were only just over 1.5 billion euros. Though even these figures were up on the year before because of optimism from the nuclear deal. Sanctions are mostly on areas such as banking and financial services, foreign trade, energy sectors, and technologies. Now, the banking one is important because it means that it's difficult to send money to Iran unless that transaction has been approved by officials. So it's difficult to just pay someone for doing a service for you. So that makes things really tough.
And what's going to happen if Iran doesn't stick to their deal? Are all these new businesses that are being set up, are the deals going to fail?
Well, I think at the moment the deals are quite tentative, so they're not just jumping in, they're rather gearing up for it. They're getting ready for when the sanctions are officially lifted. There is a 65-day so-called snapback program on the sanctions. So basically, if certain key goals aren't fulfilled, then the UN Security Council will have to vote. They'll all have to agree to continue sanctions relief. If one country vetoes it, then the sanctions that were in place before automatically come back. And so that doesn't leave much room for mistakes or for problems with the implementation of the deal.
And what kind of business does Germany want to do with Iran if they do?
Well, I think coming from those business leaders that I mentioned, so from Mercedes-Benz, Siemens, Volkswagen, selling cars is one big thing. It's one thing that Germany does very well, is making cars, and also machinery for factories, let's say, and for automation. So Germany will definitely be looking for more contracts in Iran to sell these kinds of products as well. And also, I read earlier that companies such as Boeing and Airbus expect to have reasonably sized contracts from Iran for making new aeroplanes because Iran's national airline has been pretty much neglected since the late 70s. One thing, though, one big German industry which will not see a big uptick from Iran is beer. So, yeah, it's still illegal to drink alcohol in Iran, though many people do, but it's just not open. And, yeah, so it still is illegal. So I think there won't be much beer sold, German beer sold in Iran. But while Germans and Iranians alike welcome the closer cooperation, it doesn't come without controversy. Iran has fought proxy wars with Saudi Arabia for years, and some believe the added economic boost will support state-sponsored terrorism. This is the main criticism from Israel, which is Germany's a strong ally with Israel, as well as some American Republicans. The country also has a terrible human and civil rights record. Others say that anything which brings a nuclear arsenal out of Iran's hands will be good. It will make the country easier to resist if relations break down. As for German business leaders, they'll be happy to have access to a sophisticated and growing market worth billions more in revenue. It might not be good news all round, but we're definitely in a better position than we were a few months ago.
And now for this week's News in Brief. On the political front, Wolfgang Bosbach has resigned from his post as protest against the agreed-upon policies Germany has made with Greece. Bosbach was the chair of the Home Affairs Office, as well as being one of the most senior figures of Chancellor Angela Merkel's CDU party. He has never been quiet about his opinion of Merkel's and the government's decision to provide money, numbering in the billions of euros, to bail out the debt the Greeks could not pay back. He, and a number of others in Parliament, are not happy with the recently agreed-upon terms, and have voiced that due to the circumstances, Greece should have left the euro to use another form of currency until they could have straightened out their finances. It was this past Thursday when he announced that he will be giving up his position as chair as of September 22nd in protest. He will stay on to serve as a Minister of Parliament for his elected area in North Rhine-Westphalia, which he has held for almost 22 years now. He said he wants to continue to stay loyal to his party, the CDU, and its leader, Angela Merkel, but it's a moral concern. He will no longer be throwing himself into every battle for Merkel, and that he will be staying true to his own conscience. Also in politics, the previous leader of the AfD, Bernd Lucke, who had recently been ousted in the party, has decided to set up another political party that is also based around being a Eurosceptic group called Alpha. He had recently lost his position with the AfD and had completely quit the party, claiming that it had changed its ideals and was becoming Islamophobic as well as xenophobic in general. Lucas said this new party will stay true to the founding idea that Germany should be against the euro and immigration issues have their problems, but it will not take the same right shift that the AfD has been taking recently. He says he has already 5,000 people ready to join up with the new party and hopes that Alpha will be in the 2017 general elections. The Monopolies Commission is criticizing Germany policymakers at the moment for taking too much time to restructure the national railway company Deutsche Bahn. Their main complaint? That Deutsche Bahn's infrastructure and transport units should be separated, as it's creating a wall for fair competition in the market. The state of Germany is the biggest shareholder of the Deutsche Bahn company, and the Monopolies Commission has said that the only way competition can take place, both for long-distance as well as regional rails, is for Deutsche Bahn to separate the infrastructure and the transport units. The main problem right now is there is little anyone can do for Deutsche Bahn hindering those smaller or private competitors wanting to participate in the transportation market. After all, they will have to pay a fee to Deutsche Bahn's rail system. Though there are several institutions in Germany that host programs that study the Holocaust, a new plan has been made for the first time to have a long-time professorship with the sole focus to study the repercussions following the Holocaust to the present day. The position has not yet started, but is planned for the year 2017 at the Goethe Institute in Frankfurt. Science Minister Boris Rhein has said that now that after 70 years since the Holocaust took place, this is a long overdue step, and it is Germany's duty to be at the forefront of such research. This position will be more than just recording and teaching of the history of what happened all those years ago. It will focus more on what happened afterwards, how the events changed the world all the way until the present time. The state of Hesse is funding this project and has allocated 150,000 euros per year. They are currently looking for a professor to fill this position. Frankfurt is now the home to the first Islamic bank in Germany. The bank is similar to any other bank with one major difference. Charging interest under the Sharia law is not permitted, and that is interesting as this is the way that banks, in general, do business. But analysts are saying that the Islamic bank is not so different than other banks after all. They just go about doing things slightly different. In a bank not under Sharia law, someone taking out a loan for a house might pay back the amount they borrowed, plus an agreed-upon interest rate. The way the Islamic bank works, and still make a profit, is, for example, when a customer wants to buy a house, the bank will buy the house, and then sell it back to the customer at a slightly higher price, and then let the customer make payment installments to pay back the bank. This Turkish bank believes that with its customers and its business practices, it can really help boost the economy.
And that's this week's News in Brief. Do you fancy getting an update from us with the best of This Week in Germany? Sign up to our email newsletter in the sidebar at thisweekingermany.de. Our story 2 this week is actually several stories on a theme: immigration. A lot of our listeners are immigrants to Germany of one kind or another, some by choice, just like Rob and I, others who are going through a far tougher life. So what does the social-political landscape for immigrants look like? Here's some news and my personal analysis. Firstly, the Bavarian Christian Democratic Party has set up immigrant processing centers on the borders of Bavaria. These are dedicated to the processing of Balkan immigrants specifically, notice that. Those countries are on a safe list. This means the centers have drawn criticism for essentially being institutionalized discrimination. Centers set up to turn people away because they're from a certain country. While Bavarian conservatives see these people as freeloaders looking to cash in on Germany's economic stability, the fact remains: no one uproots their life and those of their family for trivial reasons. I guess European solidarity only applies within the EU. On the same note, the leader of the German Central Council of Jews in Germany has said that Germany has a special responsibility because of its past to be humane with immigrants. Personally, I think Germany needs to stop finding moral guidance from war guilt and just help immigrants because they're people in need. Secondly, Angela Merkel's Christian Democratic Union is closer to introducing a new immigration bill. The Conservative Party's working group said some current laws contradict each other and described Germany for the first time as a country of immigrants. Now, this is a big thing for the Conservative parties. Many people within the parties will be against the new proposals. This is more of a technical change than anything else, but it would be an opportunity to add rules in favour of asylum seekers. Meanwhile, actor Til Schweiger has spoken out against anti-immigrant comments posted on his Facebook page. The nasty comments came after he encouraged his fans to help asylum seekers with donations. He said they should give to a local newspaper campaign which supports immigrants in need. One commenter said Schweiger should house plenty of asylum seekers in his Swiss villa. His angry reply got 60,000 likes. It's funny, in a way. In my personal experience, many anti-immigrant campaigners are happy enough to have Americans and British people living in their country. But brown people? People who speak funny languages? Now that's too far. Maybe we should just call these anti-immigration campaigners for what they are, racists and xenophobes. Sure, you can be against immigration. Just the recent sentiment online and in protests and the burning of asylum seeker accommodation seems to send a far more evil message.
And now it's time for my favorite, your favorite, Daniel's favorite segment of the show, Destination Germany. And why is it your favorite? Because it's the best segment.
Okay, but what happens in Destination Germany?
Well, Destination Germany is so great because it's the place where you get to learn something exciting and new about Germany. Not just what was going on in the news this week, but what you can always find. If you want to come and visit Germany, this is what you're going to find there. It's all the stuff from like those huge, big tourist places that you can go that you can just look online and be like, oh, what's in Germany? And you'll see that. We'll cover those, but we'll also cover some of those like tiny little corners that you really have to be in the country, know somebody in the country to find out about. And we'll tell you all about them and why you might want to visit them.
Yes, but you don't need to know someone in the country because you've got us.
Exactly. We're in the country, so you do know someone in the country.
Exactly. And if you like the destinations, you can find photos as well. Where can you find them?
You can go to our website, thisweekingermany.de, and we'll have photos so you can match up the visual picture from the segment and see what it actually looks like.
What a smooth intro. It's almost like we've been doing this for dozens and dozens of episodes.
At least 82 episodes.
I would say so. So in our episode last week, we took you to the very center of the capital city in Bavaria, Munich. And right in the center of the city, you'll find a large open space with a beautiful lawn leading up to an exquisite ancient Greek-looking temple called the Glyptotek. When you pass the iconic doorway, you'll find yourself in halls upon halls surrounded by white marble statues. The museum is the oldest in the city and the only one of its kind that is dedicated to Greek figures. Enjoy the art of the human form carved by masters all the way back to 700 BC. So, Rob, you certainly did paint a vivid picture of what it's like to stand among those ancient statues from so long ago. But now, I really want to get some excitement and some energy. Germany has more to offer than just museums and, dusty old stuff from thousands of years ago, which is also cool, but there's energetic stuff to do as well.
Too true. Germany is a place that has a lot of cool stuff in it, tons of exciting things to do and see. So this week, I'm going to take you somewhere fun. And not to say that museums aren't fun, that I've talked of previously, but this is going to be somewhere that's really fun.
All right, come on, tell me. I want to be entertained.
We're actually going to go to a city that I have firsthand knowledge about, as I have lived there for almost 2 years. It is the largest city in the state of Saxony. It is Leipzig, an amazing place. I was very fortunate to be able to study there, and I also got to meet a lot of people there and just get a good feel for the city.
But of course, you're not just going to talk about the city in general. It'll be a bit too broad, but rather a specific place in the city.
Yes. Talking about a fun and exciting place in Leipzig would take... It would actually be endless. I could talk about how cool and fun Leipzig is for hours. Well, I guess that's not endless, but so let's say yes. So I'm going to be focusing on a single place in the city, and I have been to this place quite a few times.
Is it a bar? I just know it's going to be a bar.
Well, you're not wrong. It is a place where you can go and unwind and have a delicious beverage of your choice, whether that be with or without alcohol.
I think with you it'll be with
coffee
alcohol.
as well. And there are tons of choices as for food as well, as they have a cafe, so you can get a snack there. So it's not just a place to drink. But you might ask, well, I could get drinks anywhere. What's going to make this destination so great? Why do you want to talk about it specifically?
Okay, Rob, just tell me where this place is. Do I have to beg or something? Just tell us already.
Okay, we're going to be looking at the Moritzbastei, which is in downtown Leipzig. It can be found right behind the huge MDR skyscraper near Augustusplatz.
Well, why didn't you say so earlier? Well, yes, I'm definitely quite familiar with that MDR skyscraper. I mean, you can see it from miles around in the city centre. So, yeah, and that's University of Leipzig Student Club, isn't it?
Yes. Well, no, kind of. Okay, let me give you a little bit of history about it so you can really get a feel for the place.
I would expect nothing less.
The university was there before the building of Moritzbastei, which isn't really saying that much as the university is 600 years old. But Moritzbastei was built in the mid-1500s, so you might get from the name, it was originally a military bastion, which is like an angular wall structure. Eventually, it was decommissioned, and it was used for storage space as well as a workplace for a book printer and a bell maker as well. Then, like many things in the mid-40s in Germany, it got blown to smithereens.
Oh, that's fun, I guess. I mean, it's... but thank you for sharing that with us, Rob. I mean, it's fun, yeah.
Well, I'm getting to the fun part. In the mid-70s,
sorry.
In the mid-70s, students found the remains of Moritzbastei, and they began a project. And with the help of the university and the city, they excavated and rebuilt the structure as a student club. And so for the next 20-ish years, the structure was for students, and they could meet there and have cultural events and student events there.
So over the process of these 20 years, they've worked hard on the rebuilding and giving it a new purpose. But then what happened after the 20 years when this project finished?
Well, after 20 years, it was the 90s, and the wall had recently come down. Moritzbastei was separated from the university and became its own commercial foundation. Since then, it has blossomed into one of the must-visit places for everyone that travels to Leipzig.
So tell us what you can find at the Moritzbastei if you go there.
It's a really good place just to meet up and hang out with some friends and maybe make some new ones. It has multiple stories, the main one of it, which is underground, with both indoor and outdoor seating. And there you can, like I was saying earlier, get some delicious food. They have a cafe with a rotating menu, or you could just hang out and relax with a drink. And you can find places like this anywhere that are cool and old, that you can get a drink and have some food. But what makes it unique is it's an underground fortress. So you enter this place, you have to walk down these stairs and what feels like you're going to some like winding stone cave, and it has like all these tons of winding hallways and stone rooms. It's really, really cool.
You also mentioned that it's a cultural center. So what does that mean exactly?
I've been to Moritzbastei a few times, and it usually is for cultural events that they're hosting. They host art shows and fashion shows. They have plays. They have music, all different kinds of great music. That's usually why I've been there. I've seen rock shows, like rock and roll shows, and they've had techno dance parties that you can just pretty much party all night long. And I've even been there for a samba dance show before, which was a lot of fun. The music, amazing. And there are art shows there with lots of different mediums. There's cinema nights. They have public speakers. They have special food shows. Much, 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 and much more.
So if you want to find out about the much, much, much more, what can you do?
For all the details, you can find out what's available. The visitors can go and check out their website at moritzbastei.de and click on the programming link to see everything that's coming up. And don't worry, they're in the 21st century, so you can find all this stuff in English as well, which makes it very very nice if you're just visiting in Germany. And other than their famous dance parties, is what they're really famous for, and live music shows, they're really also known for having jazz nights performance, which I have not been to, but I hear about it all the time.
And as always, if you want to find out more, including getting to see some photos, to really see what Moritzbastei looks like, go to our website, thisweekingermany.de, where we'll have some images for you. And that was our destination Germany, but next up our German of the Week section, where we put the spotlight on a prominent person from this week's news, a German citizen or even a foreigner who we deem an honorary German, who's had an effect for better or worse on German culture, society or politics.
This episode, we're going to take a look at superstar DJ Felix Jaehn, who has accomplished what no other German music artist has in 26 years, getting to the top of the Billboard music charts. You might have heard about the Billboard music charts, but I'm going to let you know just what they are. It's a US magazine that does extensive tabulations of the popular songs in America and everywhere else in the world. If you want to find out what is blowing up and trending across today's music in the world, look no further than the Billboard charts. Felix is 26 years old now, and he has already made a big name for himself as a DJ and artist. He is one of the most listened to songs right now, where he remixes music for Omi's Cheerleader. This Jamaican vibe beat is spread across Germany, Europe, and everywhere else. It has top charts in other countries as well, like France, Great Britain, Canada, America, and Australia. This is such big news, as German artists rarely hit the big time in US-based music popularity charts. The last time that the German was number 1 on the Billboard charts was in 1989. Can you guess the Germans that were the stars then? It was Milli Vanilli. Yeah, you can see why Germany was so happy to hit number 1 yet again this week. As DJs working with pop stars is becoming a more recognized music form, you can expect to see, or maybe better to say hear, a lot more great music coming from German DJ Felix Jaehn.
And that German of the Week brings us to the end of episode number 82. And you can check out our website if you want to get more from Germany throughout the week. So, Rob, what can people find on thisweekingermany.de?
They can find tons of fun and exciting things.
Whoa!
Yes, besides articles that we might not talk about on the program, you can find additional content there, as well as some write-ups of some of the content that we do have, and maybe some additional information on that. Plus, there'll be links there to tons of different social media that we like to go on as well, Facebook and Twitter. And also, we want to point out Instagram, where Daniel, doing most of it, is taking some great pictures in Berlin. So if you want to see some really, really cool pictures of stuff that right now Daniel sees, maybe what I see a little bit later, then definitely check out Instagram.
Yes, Instagram.com/thisweekingermany. And it's not because I've banned Rob from our Instagram account.
I'll have to get some stuff up there. I'll get some pictures.
It's just that he's just going to show a ton of baby photos. So, anyway, This Week in Germany is produced by me, Daniel Winter. It is written and presented by myself and Rob Bishop. Thank you very much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. And we will be back in 7 days with more of This Week in Germany.